talking to you on the ones and twos. DJ NIECY D spreading the news. Nubian Queen worldwide play that. New music, she ain't scared to break that. DJ NIECY D. I like it when you play my song.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the NIECY D Show. Of course, I'm NIECY D. Super excited to have the man with the most talent, Mr. Craig Crawford. How are you doing today? I'm doing good. I'm so excited. Thank you for your patience. I know we had a scheduled show and we had to postpone it. I am so appreciative of your patience and your willingness to come back to join us. And so let me ask you first and foremost, how much traveling have you been able to do with the whole COVID situation?
Well, I've been doing an extensive amount of traveling through Zoom. I have the only place I've been back and forth is between here and New York, but with in Zoom I've been international. I've been Canada. I've been several states. I'm actually producing another project right now for an artist.
Oh, wait, we going to talk about that production.
Yeah,
so don't get into that too fast.
I'm traveling virtually.
And thank God for technology, seriously, because obviously we're trying to stay safe and do as much as we can technically via Zoom, team links, and everything else. So with that said, before we get into production credits, let's kind of start with the talent side of you, Mr. Saxophonist, a Dove Award-winning and Stellar Award-winning saxophonist. Would you please tell the world, for those who don't know, about your background as a very accomplished professional saxophonist, Mr. Craig Crawford?
Well, I never feel like I'm accomplished, but thank God for the blessings he's provided over the years.
Yes.
Started playing the saxophone at the age of 10 in the fifth grade just to get out of class. But in reality, I was fascinated. It was to get out of class, but more so, I started playing the trumpet, and my music teacher said, you won't be able to kiss girls after playing the trumpet. And so because your lip will be numb. So I said to him, well, you need to take this thing back. Because,
With the quickness.
Girls are in my plans. So I saw a saxophone in the band room, and it had a lot of buttons. And so I was really fascinated by the challenge. I usually like anything that has a challenge. And so I picked up the saxophone and never put it down since. And
really?
It's been a long time.
Self-taught, or were you
No.
taking music lessons and you just
I was in the
saxophone
school
over trumpet?
band.
Okay.
I was in a school band, and it was a great time because I learned to read music. I learned to perform, and I played in church as well. And a lot of people had to suffer through my beginning years of playing saxophone, but it actually, when you stick to something, it usually pays off. So
It usually does.
thank God for this opportunity that did pay off.
I say it paid off in a big way, so much so that you formed a group called the Craig Crawford Players. You were the lead of that group, correct?
Right. Well, how that happened was we were at the time performing. We were the band for Donnie McClurkin and McClurkin Singers, and we had we were such a pretty hot band at that time. Somebody had asked us to be a part of this big event, and Donnie was on the event. Hezekiah Walker was on the event, and so many people that have continued in the faith and in the talent. And what happened was they said, "What's the name of your group?" And I hadn't thought about it other than Craig Crawford and Friends. And so the guy said to me, he said, Craig Crawford players, and I said, yeah, that's it. And the name stuck, and it was good. It was a good choice because you usually have a group, group so and so singers, this group
Right.
singers,
Mm-hmm.
and so we were players, and that's what we did. That's what we love to do, and it stuck, and God is blessed for so many years that we've been able to continue to do it. And just to correct you, we were nominated for 3 Stellar Awards
Three
for
Stellar
Best
Wars.
Instrumental Album of the Year and a Dove Award for Best Instrumental Album of the Year as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
And,
it's
and
it's
and
great.
it's been over 3 decades of you and the group traveling and performing. And what are some of the venues you guys have graced stages?
Oh my goodness, we played at places all over the world.
Mhm.
We've toured and opened for Denise Williams in the Philippines, and we've just been to so many incredible places with so many incredible artists. A lot of times we'd have to just pinch ourselves and just say, "Wow, look at
Wow, right?
look at Brooklyn, New York, in the
Yeah,
Philippines, or even in Snow Valley, California, and just
absolutely,
things like
because you
that.
are Brooklyn bred, right?
Yeah. hmm
Absolutely. Now, all the members of the group from Brooklyn as well?
Everybody from originally from Brooklyn. Yes.
Everybody ready? All right, Brooklyn, big guy. So, all right. So, where do you get the inspiration? I understand you are a composer, writer. So, how do you stay inspired? Where does it come from?
Well, that's a good question. I grew up in the church, and I understand and have that foundation. Like a lot of people have, some people use the church as an internship to get to fame, but I use the church as my foundation,
Mm,
and God has been faithful, and I have tried to be faithful to Him,
yes.
and I haven't been too bad, but thank God for His grace.
I know
Um,
that's
I,
right.
I've
Amen.
been in the race for a long time, but to answer your question, my musical taste comes from a lot of different places. I always laugh because in the 70s, when people were listening to Motown, I didn't know what radio station listened to, so I was listening to things like Neil Diamond and and a
Wait,
lot
so
of.
hold on, pause. Let me tell you, I went to a Neil Diamond concert, and Neil
hmm
Diamond is the bomb.com, okay? So
hmm
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, it's funny how God uses things. You never know how things are gonna formulate, but
That's right.
um, those different artists that influenced my formative years, helped me with melody, helped me with composing, things that I wasn't even aware of at the time. So
Hmm. Hmm.
um, even fast forward to today, I've been listening to jazz, gospel, R&B, hip hop,
Right, right.
really anything that's good. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
I listen to classical. So I've not limited myself to any one genre. I like to play jazz. I like to play, contemporary jazz. I like to play anything that's good. So
Right,
there are no limitations on what I'm going to do
right.
and how I'm going to do it. I may do something jazz and bring, a Neil Diamond feel to
Yeah.
it,
Well, and that's
so.
what I love about music personally because music is just infinite. We put these restrictions, I say, of genre and so forth, but it's infinite and it touches people and it doesn't matter if you take all lyrics away, the music can still move people inside. So I just kind of think music itself is like a spirit, for lack of better words. What do you think about that?
Well, I definitely believe that it's music is the music, the definition of what comes out of the music comes from the
Yes.
person that's providing the music.
Yeah.
So if the person that's providing the music has the wrong spirit,
Mm.
um, that wrong spirit's going to come out of the music.
Mm.
If the person that's providing the music has the right spirit, the right intentions, and
Yes.
is trying to uplift, That's
Yes.
going to come out of the music.
Yes.
That's one of the things that, a lot of people celebrate in artists. They like their music because their music is uplifting. Now, there are other people with other agendas
Yes.
that make music for other reasons,
Yes.
and it's evident in the culture of what that music has an effect, how that music
Yes.
has an effect on the culture. So
Absolutely.
it's important who the source is. It's
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely. I'm glad we just shared that because I don't think people realize that or understand the undertones of those energies that we're talking about and how they do affect the masses. So I think that's really important that people start to reconsider some of the things that they're absorbing.
Absolutely.
So are there any artists that are out there that you would be interested in working with, either writing for, performing with?
um, I really don't. I don't look at it that way.
Okay.
Um, God has He usually sends the right people to me,
Mm-hmm.
and sends me to the right people. So I don't have a list of who I'd like to work for. I used to,
Yeah.
when you were
Okay.
coming up, you always want to aspire to, oh, I wish I could play for so and so, and
Mm-hmm.
but God has, put me on my own path, and I thank God for sending people that want to work with me. So,
Right. Right.
um, and I say that in all humility.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
about how great I am, but
Right.
I'm
It's not
just
about ego.
grateful. No,
Right.
I'm grateful that people uh, have found something in my production, in my music, in my talent that they
Yes.
can resonate with, and then want to carry that over to their audience. So,
Right. Right. So, we're going to segue over to one of your other areas, your other chapters in your life. So, you have the experience of cameraman, production, video editor, and co-producer of a show that I am a fan of. So matter of fact, we're not gonna know before nothing. Jump right into it. Tell me about the Rev.
mm,
That is your most recent baby, and again, I am a fan.
thank you.
Thank
Uh,
you. And that airs on USA, correct?
yes, it
Okay.
does. Um,
Thursdays.
the, what'd you say?
On Thursdays.
Yes, yes. The finale was this past Thursday, but
Mm-hmm.
it's streaming 24/7 on demand on
Okay.
USA. So
Okay.
first season is in the can,
In the
and
can.
it was a
Woo.
great season. So thank you. Well, let's see. The Rev. The Rev was, a lot of people think that things happen overnight.
Hmm.
Things don't happen overnight.
No.
Um, Process, progress is basically what it is. It's progress. It's not a overnight event. So,
Right.
you got to be prepared for it. You got to put the time in, and
That's sweat
um,
equity.
sweat equity, and but a lot of time it's smart sweat. You know, um, I usually say with my assistant, she says work smart, not hard,
Right.
and it's
Right.
true. A lot
Exactly.
of people you can put a lot of time into something, and you're basically running on a treadmill. You're not going anywhere.
So true.
So
So true.
I've known the Rev for probably about 25 years, and we've he's a performer,
Hmm.
and that's where we met. He'd always do something different, and what I mean by different is we'd be doing a gospel concert, but he would turn it into Luther Vandross and have me come walking down the aisle playing sax, doing intros. He always turned everything into a show.
A big
So
production.
it was always a production, but it was great.
Yes.
He'd have people standing on their feet, wanting more, and it was never boring, never boring. Um, fast forward, we were preparing to perform at Carnegie Hall, and I was sitting in rehearsal as we were preparing, and the Holy Spirit said to me, as I was watching Richard drill his choir and whip them into shape, Holy Spirit said to me, "You know, this is a reality show." And I just stopped and looked at everything from that perspective, and I responded back to the Holy Spirit. I said, "You know, you're right." like I had to tell the Holy Spirit, right, you know. So at the end of rehearsal, I walked up to Richard and I said, "Would you be interested in me shooting you to pitch a reality show?" And to my surprise, he said yes. And
So
I said,
why were you
"Okay."
surprised? With such an
Because
extroverted personality and so willing to take risks creatively, why were you surprised?
most pastors don't want their personal lives exposed. You know,
True.
they want to be in front of people on Sunday, but when it comes to
For the rest of the week.
the rest of the week, they like their privacy.
Right.
Most, I'm not going to say
Most.
all,
Right, most.
but to my surprise, he said yes, and so then it was on. Then I had to deliver because I
Right.
know how people are. You can't raise someone's expectations and then don't deliver. That
Right.
just ruins your credibility. So I
Yes.
started shooting shooting his rehearsals, shooting interviews and things like that. And this was, believe it or not, 7 years before we got a deal with USA.
Wow.
And yeah, we started, and about a year later, I had enough footage to put together a sizzle reel and started shopping it around. And people were like, "Oh, this is interesting. This is really cool," da 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 da, but didn't get a deal yet. So fast forward about 3, 4 years later, we got some traction from a company in LA
Okay.
who then got the attention of Lifetime. Just the same time, just around the time that they were doing uh, the R. Kelly doc
Oh,
series,
okay.
and so our Lifetime was interested, and we just kept going. And then Lifetime came in for about 3 months, and they started shooting. They brought a crew in from LA, started shooting, and at the end of about a 6 month period, they said this stuff is great. This is really a great idea, but it's not for us. We want to go a
Okay.
different way.
Okay.
And it was okay because we knew we knew we had something.
Right. Of course.
So we started getting bids from other companies like Netflix and OWN and I think of BET as well and USA. But we decided to go with USA. Just thought it was a great fit for the show,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's been a wonderful ride. We started shooting in 2019, and then COVID struck. Yeah, so COVID struck. We had to stop production for about 3 months,
Which is
and
not bad when you consider,
not bad. But we created our own bubble.
Okay.
Not a lot of people on the set.
Right.
Anybody that was on the set was tested regularly,
Yes.
and had to be masked up. And we just basically do what we have to do, and it took a little bit longer because of
Of
COVID,
course. Those
but
challenges. Yes.
we were able to get our 8 episodes in, and everything flowed naturally. The thing about the Rev
No,
is,
wait. So wait. I do want to ask a question before we
Mhm.
get into the personalities and characters of the
Okay.
show. Kind of revisiting that conversation about being divinely guided and kind of being put where you need to be, right? Do you feel your experience in the industry of television and editing and so forth was part of the preparation for this opportunity of the Rev?
Absolutely. When I was 17 years old, um, I I had the option, and I was in my senior year in high school. I had the option of either playing varsity basketball or taking an internship and working. Well, lo and behold, I got cut from the varsity basketball team. I was real disappointed, but I also knew that at 6'1", there are many people my age that had extraordinarily talent, and it's a long shot for me to get in the NBA. So let me go take this internship.
Yeah.
So, so I
Let me
went
go
to
set another
take,
foundation.
exactly. So and I also knew at the age of 18, things weren't going to be free anymore. You'd have to pay for everything. So thank God for the wisdom, and I took the
Yes.
internship in video production, and that's how I got my start in video.
Yes.
And lo and behold, a couple years later, about 3 years later, I called that same company up to um, get information on some of the equipment that I was using to apply for a job somewhere else. And they said to me, "Well, why don't you come work for us?"
It makes
And so,
sense.
yeah, but I said, "Let me think about it." I had a lot of nerve, but I also knew that I wanted certain things out of life, and I wanted to make sure I was going down the right path and right
Right,
direction. So
right.
I wasn't going to just jump at money or just jump at a job. And
Right.
so after about a week of really fasting and praying, um, it was revealed to me that this is the place that
That's
you
where you're
should
supposed
be.
to be. Yes.
And I ended up working there. They brought me in with no experience. I was the administrator for the company. I learned more video production. And fast forward, I spent 18 years there. But check this out. I went from no experience to I was teaching editing, I was teaching video production, I was running the business.
And this was no shabby company. If I
Not at
if I
all.
understand
Not at all.
correctly, you all have a plethora of Academy Awards for projects that you all worked on. Is that correct?
Well, when I left there, we had about 16 Grammys, not Grammys, Emmys, Emmy Awards. We had unlimited ACE Awards and so many different accolades. It was, I got to work, NBC was one of our clients. I got to work on a lot of productions that took me, out of state and put me in some precarious situations. I remember doing one shoot where I had to pretend to be an undercover uh, drug user. And
Well,
yeah, it was
how
crazy.
out of pocket was that for you?
It was crazy, and I'm saying to myself, I don't want to die for this job. But the funny thing was, it was back in I'm going to say probably early 90s. Um, this physician was prescribing drugs. Um, he was basically drug dealing, and he was a physician. So I had to go in with a camera in a suit, in a briefcase, and try to get all this stuff on film.
So
And
there's another version of Undercover Brother on a
oh
technical
my
side.
goodness, listen, it was the most scariest thing. And I had a real drug addict working with me, and so and
That's a
his
reality show within
oh,
itself.
it was crazy. And so when I get to the medical facility, the security guard, he was in on it too. So I get there and they said to me, I remember him saying, one of the guys saying, "What's in the suitcase?" And I'm lost for words because I don't have a response. And so the drug dealer the drug addict that was working with me said, "Oh, it's antennas. We steal antennas." So I'm going with that because I
Okay, that's
had
what it is.
nothing. I had nothing. So after shooting the undercover material, we brought it back to my car, which was parked about 4 or 5 blocks away. We looked at it, it was too dark. So we had to shoot it again. I was dying.
So, needless to say, yes, you had some groundwork and some experience to prepare you
Oh my
for
goodness. I
today.
was, it was a work in progress. And, I thank God because everything that was in my path in my early years,
Yes.
I'm utilizing
Yes,
today.
has led you here. So tell us about the characters of the Rev and this extravagant, extroverted personality of the Rev.
The Rev is what you see is what you get. I promise you, he is not acting. If you see the show, he'll have you laughing in person, no matter who you are, no matter how long he's known you, and he's just that bubbly, over the top personality. That's just how he is, and that's one of the satisfying things working with the Rev, knowing that he's authentic, he's genuine, and he's giving you who he is. So when you see him come out in a glitter jacket,
That's in the closet for real.
that's in his
I love
closet.
in
That
his
is
closet.
not costume
What
material.
what I find so interesting is the similarities of the daughter's character. She is his spitting image, and the son is the spitting image of the mother.
Well,
I love it.
the funny thing was when I was, started shooting the show, and everything was focused on the Rev, and then when I started doing individual interviews with each and every family member, the daughter just blew my mind because I've known her since she was an infant, and all of a sudden I'm seeing this big personality come out and she's talking about her father. Yeah, my father, he's gonna come in with this squirrel around his neck and this big bow tie. And I'm saying to myself while I'm interviewing, I'm like, wow, this is incredible,
This is like
Yes, this is a mini
mini
version
Rev.
of the Rev, right?
Yeah, mini Rev.
So she just blew my mind by her personality, and I knew right away that she was a major role in the
Yes,
Rev.
yes, yes. So now that you've wrapped the first season, the show is a success. Have you started shooting for the next season?
We have not yet.
Okay.
We're gonna probably take that on in the coming months. This is about the time. Yeah, this is March, so this is about the same time that we started. We continued shooting last year.
Okay.
Just when COVID had.
Because you can't leave us hanging. We definitely want more.
Oh
I
yeah,
am telling
definitely.
you, while it's streaming on USA, people make sure you tune in. So across the board, is it Thursday? Does it change? The times are Eastern, Central.
Well, it changes. I know USA when they debuted a show called She's the Boss. That came in at our 10:30 slot, which moved us to 11 o'clock. So, it seems like the pattern is to introduce a show on Thursday at 10:30. So,
Okay,
I don't know what time
but we
and
can
what
look
day
forward to
season
it.
two. Yeah,
Because
but you can
do we
stream it
need to
on
get a
demand.
petition going? Do we need to get on the internet and be like, look, bring back the Rev. We want this show.
Well, it certainly is important to support the show and
Yes.
stream it and to get it on demand because they count your clicks, they count your votes.
Okay.
Your clicks are your votes. When you're
All
watching the
right.
show, that tells that you know that you're enjoying it, and there's a certain amount of people
So
that are
get busy,
watching it.
y'all. Click the links, download it while you drive and listen to it, whatever. But make sure you support the Rev. Definitely,
Yes.
definitely, because we want to see that show. And will USA be home still?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Shout out to USA for knowing what to do and getting that good show on. So
Amen.
when COVID starts to have you gotten your vaccination yet? Have you been vaccinated? Are you going to get the shot? What's the deal with that? Got to ask you that.
I am. I'm going to eventually get the vaccination. I haven't got it yet, but I've always practiced social distancing, and
Yes.
I've stayed out of a lot of closed places. I've just been practicing continuing to live,
Right. I know
a,
that's right.
a healthy life. So,
Right.
no hugs and that kind of stuff, and
Right. Right.
we just it's too many people have died
Yes, yes.
for for us to be lackadaisical about
Right.
what we need to do. I lost an aunt and
Absolutely.
an uncle, Toy
Yes.
Robinson
Yes.
and Maxine Robinson, last year
Yes.
and in the same week. So, it's no joke and
At
it's
all.
not anything to be politicized or anything like that. It's serious. So,
It is
you
serious.
know, I want to be around. I completed my will last year, so that was kind of scary doing a will while all this
But it's
stuff is going on,
but it's
but
so
it's necessary.
necessary. It is
Yeah.
necessary. And I think in our community we try to shy away from things like that, but it's very necessary. So I'm glad you shared that with us because hopefully people will be motivated to do the same. So I know that I've held you up for a good while. I appreciate your time. I love you so much. You know that. And I really hope that you'll come back and give us an update on what you have going on. And I wish you
Well,
would let everyone know how they can contact you, what social
okay.
media outlets, how can you be reached, where can they hear your music.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I could be contacted and reached through, I have a website, CraigCrawfordPlayers.com. I'm also on Facebook, Craig Crawford Players. I'm also on Instagram. I have 4 CDs out on the market and a new one coming out sometime this year. I believe it is going to be because I wanted to release an album when I can get out and perform it. You know,
Yes, yes.
online is cool, but there's nothing like that personal contact. So
Absolutely agree. I absolutely
as more
agree.
and more people are getting vaccinated, that just opens up the opportunity for more and more live venues. So
True.
that's what I want to do. I'm working on, well, I finished the album. It's not out yet, but my other releases are out and available. I'm working on a new album for a sister duo, a Christmas project, and that's
Mm.
the recording that I'm doing totally virtual, and it's
Wow.
international. The
Wow.
one of
Looking
the
forward to
singers,
that for sure.
one of the singers is in Canada, another one's in New York, um, piano player in Texas, another keyboard player in New York and New Jersey and um,
That's
uh, K-
amazing.
Kentucky and guitarist and background vocalist in Atlanta. So I'm I've done it before, but this is the first time the entire project is going to be a virtual project.
Virtually produced.
Yeah, and
That is amazing.
it's
So
great.
who would have known that this would be part of our vocabulary and our normal dialogue to talk about things are virtual, and COVID has absolutely caused us all to step up to the plate. It's like, can you handle challenges? Can you face challenges? How are you going to reinvent yourself? What are you going to do? So it's been a challenging but wonderful journey at the end of the day when you really think about what has transpired over the last year for some people. So I'm glad you
Well,
are on the upside of all of that.
yeah,
And I wish you continued success. I
thank
love
you.
you. I appreciate you. And we'll be talking again soon. Yes?
Okay, look forward to it. It was a pleasure.
Likewise, likewise. All right, you guys make sure you follow Craig Crawford on all his social media outlets. Leave comments and just, enjoy his music. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the NIECY D Show, baby. We get it in. Talk to you all again later. Mwah.